so excited, you guys. We have Rabecca Ann Artistry on set today. She has an incredible story. Not only has she become a successful solopreneur, but she's really focused on building a business and a brand. And I really want you to listen in because a lot of us have started off one place but have a vision on something much bigger. This girl's gonna get it done. Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks for the face and
Absolutely.
the glam.
Anytime.
Just so you go about your day making people look pretty.
I do.
Yeah. And why do you think it's so important that people like dial up their A game?
You know what? You show up better, and when you feel good, you look good. You speak how you need to speak. And there was a time I didn't feel pretty and I didn't feel like I looked good. But as soon as I got myself together, I was like, oh, okay. This is my superpower.
Yeah.
And I want to share that with other people.
Okay, so you have what I consider a really traditional trajectory. You start in a number of things, schooling, but you go to a counter, you learn your trade, and then you say, I'm so great, I'm going to do this on my own.
Yeah.
What's been hard about that?
I feel like there's hard things in life. And so I never try to focus on that. I just kept redirecting myself and trying to figure out how I can use that hard moment and kind of climb up on top of it. So I think in the beginning, it was just getting myself out there. But then once I did, it was easy and it just kept coming.
Referrals kept coming.
Yep, referrals kept coming because I think once you do the work and you do it well, people talk about you on their own. And, I don't have to do much advertising because people are talking for me. And like you're my model.
The thing is about the model you're in today, there's X number of hours per week. You come to my house. It takes a while to do this, and you have to drive here and drive back. How many clients can you actually serve before you're full?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I do about 8 to 10 clients a week. And the good thing is different things. So it doesn't feel like repetitive. Sometimes I'll be on set, on a show, or I'll do personal branding, or I'll go shopping with a client. So it's very different every day. So it doesn't feel repetitive and the time is easily managed.
Well, talk to me because I know you shared with me that you tried originally to grow your business by, I'll call it outsourcing, which is a very typical thing. I talk about this all the time where if you have a function that you're not good at or you need to expand, you layer it in with outsourcing. How did that backfire for you?
So sometimes I'll hire maybe another makeup artist and bring them on set with me or, let them do makeup for me for another client. Sometimes maybe they'll go with the client or the client will end up using them to go forward, which is fine because what I've realized is maybe they're just not my client. And if they were, they wouldn't go anywhere. So I think sometimes that could be challenging if someone tries to take your business and yeah.
Well, that's more than challenging. That I've had it happen.
Yeah.
I know firsthand. It's a real slap in the face because, the hardest part of the equation, I think, is the business development. I mean, doing the work. Let's presume you're a good makeup artist, and you are. That's not really the hard part.
No.
That's the tactics. So to have somebody come and steal your business is beyond frustrating.
Yeah.
And so, did you outsource the wrong thing? Or to the wrong people?
No, I just think in our industry, it's challenging because if we're all doing the same kind of work, the client kind of chooses what they want. At the end of the day, it's like, okay, well, I'm known for the no makeup look and very natural makeup, and maybe they want a little bit more glam, and maybe that artist was able to deliver that. So, and for me now, I don't take it personal because I'm like, well, that's what they're looking for, and when they need my look, they'll come back. So, it's just.
So you're 11 years in. Has this surpassed your expectations in planning or met?
So I've always envisioned myself as being a household name and a household brand. So I'm climbing my way up there. I've definitely maxed myself out of using the best clients all over the city, here and out of state. And so I've done that and I've surprised myself. I've been in some situations where I'm pinching myself like, oh my God, how did I do it? But there's so much more to do and I'm excited to get there.
Okay, so talk to me about how you go from solopreneur to a brand.
Yeah. So right now I'm working on a product. And I mean, you build their clientele, you do the work, you show up and people recognize that and you get on social and continue to drive that. And then you just build from there. So that's kind of the levels that I've been doing. So, yeah.
Okay, but I mean, I think it's important to think about, and no doubt you'll do it, but you have 10 clients a week, which is 40 a month, 480. So if they all bought one, That's
Yep.
not gonna do what you want.
So
You
I
have a
have
bigger
other
vision.
makeup artists that I work with.
Okay.
I have 3 other artists that work with me, but I'm kind of backing away from that. I'm really going to focus on the product and digital products just so that I can reach more than one person. And yeah, so digital products, online, just building that community, subscription model.
So household name, is that, for there's two different ways. Some clients, of mine, they want to be famous. They're artists and they want to be famous. They could be paid in fame, they'd be fine with it. And others just want to make money. Which one is it for you?
I think I'm right in the middle. I think you need a little bit of fame to claim to get things done and for people to be like, oh, I want to be with her because of who she is. And then, I mean, everyone needs the money to fund and keep going and keep growing. So yeah, I think I'm like right in the middle. I'm not either way.
Did you grow up with an entrepreneurial family?
I did. My dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the biggest lesson he ever taught you?
Never take things personal. Keep going. Every day is not going to be easy, and you have to use those tough moments to like make future opportunities better. And he's just really patient, really patient. And I think I've been patient with my business, and I might meet someone and think I need that exchange to grow right then in that moment. But I think what he's always reminded me is just wait and give it time. And as I have done that, I've seen big reward.
So the long game. I think people your age, that is not a popular thing today. They want the short game, the quick hit, the get rich quick.
Yeah.
And I don't believe it exists. So what a fortunate thing for you to have a dad that ingrained that in you, because it's not popular today in social media. You can look and think that everyone in the world is doing better than you, when the fact is, as my husband, who's CFO of our companies, always says, yeah, let me see their balance sheet. What you can put out on social media, especially in your business, very creative, can be very glitzy and glammy, but let me see their balance sheet.
Yep. Yeah, I think people my age don't realize how much work it takes to do the things that you do or things that I do. And you don't get there overnight. And even the people that are big on social media started 5, 6, 7 years ago, but now they're getting recognized because they're being consistent. They put they're really on their niche, and they know their target audience, and they know how to meet them. They know where to meet them. And I think you just can't show up on social and just expect to be a millionaire overnight. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, we got it. So I heard two things. There are patience and consistency. I think like every habit, it takes patience and consistency. It's not fun.
No.
And the day-to-day is a grind.
Yeah.
But if you look back over 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years as my entrepreneurial journey is at this point, I'm like, whoa, I've literally changed my life.
Yep.
But it took every bit of the 20 years, and I'm not done.
Yeah, and you're not done. And it's exciting to see what you can do now because you've already learned all those hard, tough lessons. So now you can probably go through them much easier.
So as a solopreneur, what do you think is the hardest lesson that you've learned?
The hardest lesson. Wow. There's so many lessons. Every day there's a new lesson. The hardest one?
Just tell people. I wired somebody in China $100,000 once, and there wasn't a company. So, I've got lessons, but everybody has one that sticks out for them.
Yeah, I think you always have to back yourself up with a contract, and you have to have those firm agreements, and you got to stick to what you've laid out, and whatever your morals and your mission statements are. You got to refer back to that when you're making decisions. I think that's been the hardest lesson for me in some situations, because it's just if I go back to my core values, does this align with what I'm looking to do next? And if it doesn't, then I have to make a shift.
And how you work for a lot of celebrities, what's different about working for them? And it may just be what you just said, contracts, versus working for, today you did my makeup.
Yeah, so a lot of contract work, maybe they'll have a deal with Whataburger or Diamonds Direct or something like that. I'm built into those contracts, so it's not the pressure of I have to spend $1,000 to have you come do my makeup. It's built into their contracts, and so it's easier, and I'm just there as support, friend, and also doing the makeup and maybe sometimes hair. So
and do you have a lot of confidentiality contracts with your very high-profile clients?
I do.
So you're spending money, right,
Yeah.
to get those reviewed?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a bar to entry. So I like people to think about, what do you do in your field that makes it harder for the next person to come along. And so if there are two makeup artists and one doesn't have a lawyer or doesn't want to spend money to get that contract right there, you have something that's, makes you the call. So I think as you build your business, I think it's important to think about what are the bars to entry that, you can have, which will be your skincare line, that other people don't have. And those are ways to build so that you're not taking makeup for X number of dollars for a makeup session and they don't come back, because that's not sticky business then.
No. And I mean, I started at the counters, so I know the business from the bottom to the top. And I think it's really important having that experience on the ground with clients like every day of all skin types and all different kind of concerns, and just knowing how to maximize those opportunities and have them come back and make them feel good.
Yeah, it's incredible what you do to just show up and figure out what color goes on somebody and all different colors and, the whole, it's a real art. And the business side of it is just interesting to think about. Like, how do you get from here to where, and you know what, there are lots of examples where they did become a household name. So why not you, is what my dad always said.
Yep, why not me? You definitely have to outsource, have to build the right team around you. I'm lucky. I have a coach who's been in the business over 35 years, and the person working on my product has been in the business over 21 years, and they put really great products already on the market. So I think it's important hiring the right people around you to
100%. It is the CEO's number one job, is to hire the right people. Forget the arrangement. It's just like, be around the people that are going to make you and your company better.
Yep. Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
What do you want the listeners to know about first having your makeup done and why you think it's important?
I think it's just important to put your best foot forward. And I think every day, we aren't always taking care of ourselves. And I think it's a nice treat to just kind of sit back and let someone take care of you, and just to enjoy someone else's profession and gift, and you get to reap the benefits of it because you feel good. And I think it's time for people to let themselves feel good and not have to worry about their kids or your husband. I would say put yourself first.
A lot of women don't learn that till very later in life. So yeah, I think if you spread that message, that's important. So Rebecca, I think a couple $100, a session is a lot for people. When I hear people say, oh, well, you can just YouTube it.
Yeah.
Now that's actually funny to me, because I am way too busy to ever YouTube anything, and I'm just not inclined with makeup. So I could YouTube all you want, but it doesn't mean it's going to turn out like this.
Right.
How do you fight people saying, the price is too high, or I'm going to, try to do it myself and look good enough?
Right. I think it's important for people to know where the value is. I've been in the industry for over 11 years. A lot of YouTubers are just people who picked up a couple makeup products and figured out what works best for them. So I think it's about making the investment for yourself and saying, hey, I want to elevate my look. I want to show up as my best self. So this is a tool that I'm hiring, especially if you're a business person. You can expense that because I'm coming to show you how to be a better version of yourself. So whether that's selecting products, I think it's important to invest.
And I think it goes back to, we all have our client that is and you mentioned it quite a few times, like the client that's right for our model. And your model isn't people who maybe, good is good enough. You really should be talking to CEOs and people that are, famous people, that it can't be good enough. Yeah. It's got to be really good, because they're influencing a large audience every day and every time they show up or get photographed or on a podcast or whatever it is. So I think for all of us, especially when you're, by yourself, you might say, oh, I've only got 5 booked this week. But if you don't build people that are reoccurring customers, it's not very good for your business. No. So, so your pitch is really knowing the value that, versus what you're going to do by doing it yourself. Yeah. And for me, the value is I don't want to learn anything about makeup. I want to outsource it.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not going to, no offense, it might not look as good as what I do, because 100%. I'm using camera products, or I'm using certain things that you might not use, or maybe certain tips. And I think people get stuck in a rut of that everyday makeup that they do all the time, and the same products. So it's good to have a refresher and let someone kind of give you something new.
I agree. I think it just falls under outsourcing things that, you're not good at.
Yeah.
And getting the best professional
Yep.
in their field around you to, kind of get to your pinnacle.
Yep. I agree.
What do you want people to know about the business part of your being a solopreneur?
It takes time. Build the right team. Have some grit and know every day is not going to be easy. It's not going to be good. You're not always going to get a yes, but you might have to find another way around that. And you might have to pivot. And it's okay to pivot. It's okay to change. It's okay to drop that and say, I'll come back to it later. There's a lot of things that I've come back to later that work better later. So, yeah, be ready to pivot and be ready to work.
You're here.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we're going to look back in a few years and feel really lucky that Rabecca Ann Artistry was on the show, because I just have a feeling your grind and your what I really sense is you have no self-limiting beliefs.
No.
And I think that's the people that get it done.
Yeah, and it's funny, sometimes I talk to people, I tell them my ideas, and they're like, oh, well, and I'm like, no, we're going to make it happen. We're going to find a way. And I believe in it, and I've already envisioned it. I've already lived it. I've already seen it happen for me. And a lot of things that I've seen that way previously, I've already lived those experiences, so I know it's possible.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait till your household name. I'm going
Hey.
to say you heard it here on the Lady Boss podcast.
Yes.
And thank you for the tips. I think both just about putting your best foot forward. I grew up in a place where it was like dress up every day. Every single day we went to school not in pants.
Yep.
Because my dad believed we showed up better. We're smarter. Drove me crazy as a kid. As an old lady, I'm like, yeah. That's smart advice.
Yeah.
And what you say about really, putting this foot forward, our world is so digital that, how do you want to look back in 10 years and, have it on makeup or makeup?
Yeah.
And it's just a story and a branding and a thing we're telling all the time, and that's changed.
Yeah.
So I think your ability to do the work and to tell people why they should invest in the work is really important.
Yeah, and it just helps your posture. It's like turning on a light switch.
Yeah.
And it's just like go. So I think it's really, really important to make sure you're investing in yourself in the full package.
Wow, thanks for the glam. It's
Yeah.
a real treat, and
Yeah, it's
love
really
having you on the show, and
fabulous.
wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.